Welcome to the Heidi Thorne Show. I'm your host, Heidi Thorne, and in this podcast, I share my real-world self-publishing and small business experience with you. So let's get started with today's show. So I was having some chatter with one of my Instagram author friends about advertising for books, and in particular, Amazon or Amazon Marketing Services, AMS, advertising. She was just doing some experiments with AMS ads, and she was not getting really good results. And so I, replied back to her that AMS or Amazon ads have done really well for me in the past, but maybe not so much recently. And I'm sorry to have to say that, but let's evaluate what's happening here. First of all, over the years that I've done AMS ads or Amazon ads, I've gotten a really good ROI, sometimes up to like 7 or more times my investment. So for example, if I do $5 of ads, I'd get $35 of sales. So that's great ROI percentages. However, a couple changes had occurred. Now in early 2019, the ad interface for AMS ads changed dramatically and for the better. It was a massively good overhaul of the advertising interface. Before that, you couldn't tell if any changes in your ads were causing any changes in sales unless you did some really detailed tracking of it, and I did, and I was able to find kind of what my ROI was, but it was extremely difficult. It was just awful. But then in 2019, it was completely overhauled, and you had to wonder, well, were they just trying to be nice to us? Maybe they were trying to be nice to their advertisers, and I'm going to say advertisers, because in that time frame, or maybe even a little before that, I was starting to see some very unusual ads on Amazon. Things for which you would not expect to see advertising in that place. Vehicles, home insurance, auto insurance, home loans, the things you just don't buy on Amazon. And I'm not talking about just smaller advertisers. I'm talking about the kind that would buy ads on the Super Bowl. Big advertisers were putting ads there. So I think it was absolutely critical for them to change over the ad interface. It had to meet the specs of more sophisticated advertisers. So while it was a good thing for us because now we can more easily track what was going on with our ads, it also had the Google AdWords problem. Now, back in the day, Google AdWords was amazing for small businesses, and it built a lot of small businesses, and a lot of small businesses helped build Google AdWords into the product it is today. But then over time, these bigger advertisers start rolling in and gobbling up all the ad space. And there's no way that a smaller advertiser can compete. So for example, this year on my AMS ads, now as I'm recording this, it's the getting towards the end of the first quarter of 2020, and I haven't been able to get anything. Even though my ads are running, I haven't made a single change, not one single change in my ads, and not working. It's really not working. Now, I could, of course, up my ad bids to try and be more competitive. But as we've talked about in other places, my blog, my Udemy courses on how to sell your self-published book on Amazon, you can't you're not going to outspend these people. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to win ad bids and lose all your money. So you could easily spend a lot of money and get nothing back. And that would be really, really disappointing, right? You definitely don't want to do that. And if you make any changes to your ad spend on Amazon, track it very carefully. Minimum weekly. Because what I had in 2019, I had an issue where I was trying out one of their new ad products, which was lock screen ads. And I did it for only 2 of my titles because I just wanted to experiment. And you have to be willing to spend up to $100. That's not a big deal. If it brings in some sales, hey, I don't care. That's great. Or enough sales to cover the ad and my operating and some profit. So on the one of them, luckily I was monitoring it pretty closely. And on the one campaign, it ran up ads, an ad spend of about $20, and it resulted in one 99-cent sale. Let's talk about the ROI on that. It's not good. So what I did was because I really couldn't change the the ad bids or anything, because it was just going to go on that budget, and it would go all the way up to $100. And as soon as it was washed up, and I could have easily spent that within a couple of weeks. And if I would have only gotten maybe a couple dollars worth, that would have been a really bad ad spend. Now, I do think Amazon ads are still good. And the reason I say they're good is because it is completely trackable. You know that this ad resulted in a sale. It's not like on Facebook or Instagram where you can't really tell. I mean, even if you advertise your book and you send them to your Amazon product page, you don't know if they bought because you can't put that tracking pixel on Amazon. All you can do is guess. You can say, okay, well, I got that many clicks and I have this many sales. You don't know if unless you held all of your other advertising and promotion constant or dropped it all and just did those Facebook and Instagram ads. That's the only way you would know if they actually worked. So it's just too hard to track. And as I was talking a little bit further with this author friend of mine on Instagram, she was saying that she was getting a lot of good awareness, followers, that sort of thing, and even some sales that she could track because she was doing some direct sales type efforts as well. She was getting some traction with those Instagram and Facebook ads. And I have gotten really good traction with Facebook ads for my survey research, but for books, no. So I would say that if you're planning to do Facebook or Instagram ads, understand that that's a branding play. It's not like an e-commerce play. Amazon ads on Amazon for your books is a total e-commerce play. And then Facebook and Instagram and some of those other platforms are more branding. And there's 2 different kinds of advertising, so know what you're going for. So I hope you found that helpful as you start planning your marketing for the remainder of the year and in the future. And if you found this helpful, I would really appreciate it if you would rate, review, and subscribe to The Heidi Thorne Show on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, or Podbean. I'd also appreciate it if you would subscribe to my Heidi Thorne YouTube channel if you like the video podcast better, and make sure that you turn on the notification bell so that you get an alert when there's a new video available. I would also appreciate it if you would share the Heidi Thorne Show with your friends on social media. And if you'd like to see my self-published books, they are available on Apple Books, on Amazon, and Audible. All you have to do is search for my Heidi Thorne author page, and all my books will be listed there. If you'd like to connect with me, my website is very simply HeidiThorne.com. Thank you so much for listening and for your support. I'll look forward to talking with you again in the next episode. In the meantime, have a great day.